Hi everybody and welcome back to the Upside Dan. I got to see Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire in the 40X movie theater experience. I'm here to tell you if it's worth it in the 40X format. Before I get started, please just quickly like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel so you don't miss any 40X content coming in the future. Thank you so much for all of your continued support. I really appreciate it. So Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire was one I was looking forward to. I look forward to these Monsterverse movies. I like a lot of them, I think more than most. This was going to be my first of the American franchise seen in the 40X format, but I wasn't really sure how much fun I was going to have with this movie and with the 40X experience. I'm just going to say right off the bat, this is in contention for one of my favorite 40X experiences ever. I'm going to get into a bunch of stuff that I said I was going to get into in my shorts. Water issue, at least in my auditorium, and where I was sitting, and maybe that had something to do with it. I'm going to obviously get into, like I always do, a breakdown of the effects that happen in my auditorium at least. I'll get into the water thing soon, but I just want to say this was one of my favorite 40X experiences, if not my favorite. And I know that I said for Dune Part 2 that it was going to be hard to top the 40X experience. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm going to probably decide maybe even during this review, or maybe not. I don't know, because they were both such great 40X experiences. Dune 2 is the superior film. I'm sure you can guess that. I love Dune 2 and I loved that 40X experience. That's one of my favorites. This is one of my favorites. I feel like after experiencing this in 40X, it makes me think less of the 40X experiences for Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, and Kung Fu Panda 4. Those were fun. I don't know, I kind of went down on them a little bit. Especially Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire, I kind of went down a little bit on it as a film in general. I liked it, I enjoyed it, I did have fun in 40X, but this just blew those out of the water, no pun intended. So you pretty much know what my answer is going to be, but let me get into the nitty gritty, let me get into the specifics, what capabilities they used and everything. So the seat movements had some really great standouts. There's a part when, and part of it's in the trailer, when the humans went to Hollow Earth, and really, I mean, it was fun when anything went to and from Hollow Earth. But when they went through the vortex for the first time in this film, it was so fun, so immersive. It was rumbling a lot in a very efficient way to make it feel like you're on that ship with them. It was shaking and shaking and shaking as they were going through the vortex. It was an intense scene. It was intense action. I really enjoyed that. The lights went along very well with that. There was lights throughout, wind throughout, the air puffs at your neck, and a lot of fun sequences like that. And there was a time when Kong slid down some gravel things, and you felt the little rumbles in your seat, and that was done very well. I noticed like the little intricacies of these moments. There's these flying things, I won't get too much into it, but they're flying at something and they're hitting it, and you feel the pulse of air in your neck, and you feel the stuff at your ankles and your feet as the character on screen is getting hit by these flying things. There's little stuff like this throughout the whole film. And there's traveling, like I said, I mean, already the vortex scene, there's traveling in that spaceship thing, whatever. And then obviously Godzilla and Kong, they're running a lot, they're fighting a lot, there's a lot of combat, there's a lot of huge monster showdowns. So there's a lot of fun to be had, you know, when monsters or characters get hit or thrown against something, you feel the massagers in the back of your seat. A lot of rumbles and vibrations in the seats, and this is just the perfect film to do that. Godzilla's radiation blast as well, just like in Godzilla -1, it's just so fun in this format. You feel the rumbling and the vibration in your seat as he blasts his radiation. That's just so powerful and adds to the intimidation of this kaiju. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. It's very fun and very immersive. You're getting caught in the crosshairs of Godzilla's beam. And then throughout, there's fog a few times, which was, I think, used very well. You know, an introduction to a new kind of unexplored section of Hollow Earth. There's kind of fog rising up, and you get the fog in the auditorium. It adds to that eerie atmosphere, kind of like I said with Ghostbusters or any horror movie. It adds to that chilling atmosphere. There's also frozen stuff in here. It's called The New Empire, and that was called Frozen Empire, and there is like ice stuff in here that they did a really good job with the cool air blowing and the lights going along with, you know, anything that's shooting out beams or any of that stuff. And the wind and fog together really added to that atmosphere. I heard families in this auditorium just having a ball with this movie. I'm surprised that some people I didn't hear at least, didn't think it was too much, because there was some stuff. When I said that Spider-Verse was too much, if you agreed with me that this is going to be way too much, because I felt like this was one of the most intense 40X experiences throughout that I've had. The third act was especially so intense, so wild and crazy. It's a lot of fun, but it's almost nonstop. It's the biggest action scene, the longest action scene, and the seats are moving basically the whole entire time. It's intense. It was really satisfying to me. It was really fun. It just made this one of the best 4DX experiences, and it already was even before this. If you're interested in this kind of format, and if you're interested in this movie, this is the kind of movie that was made for this format. Adults, kids alike are going to have a lot of fun with this film as a whole, and also this film in this format. I mean, I'm pretty passionate about this 4DX experience especially. I've been positive about all the 4DX experiences I've had this month, starting with Dune 2, one of the best, and then ending with Godzilla x Kong, another one of the best. Definitely in contention with each other as some of my favorite 4DX experiences ever. Movies aside, so it has nothing to do with the movies. It's just how well they incorporate the 4DX auditorium capabilities to make you feel immersed into the movie. They do this in spades with Godzilla x Kong. You do have a little downtime, some human characters, they don't all work like usual in these films. I did enjoy them a little bit more, but even in the downtime, they found different ways to use the 4DX experience. It's not constant. The water, I don't know if it was where I was sitting, because I sat in a different place. I'd never sat in this row, I don't think. It's the fourth row, at least in my auditorium. Obviously, auditoriums are different. The handicapped row, I wasn't in a handicapped seat, but you know, there's a couple, and then there's the helper of the handicap, and there's a handicap. I don't think like a wheelchair would come in here, because they would just sit at the side, and the seats are not moving, and they're spending this extra money. So I was in that row, and I was actually afraid that they were gonna do less seat movements in that row, but they do not. If they do, then that was a wild ride for being so tame. But no, they didn't hold back for a lot of the capabilities. I don't know if I just was in the wrong place, but there was the sprayer thing right in front of you, and then there, on each side of the auditorium, all the way down the line, there's, you know, stuff to make it rain, and I didn't feel it. And there was a few times like I could tell that it was shooting the water, or trying to, at least. In other parts of the auditorium, I could tell there were several parts where they could have used the water, so I know that they could have used the water, but I just wasn't feeling it, and I don't know if it's where I was sitting, because sometimes I don't feel it as much as I do in the very back row, which I do. That's where I sit a lot, or I did, but now I'm trying to test different areas, which I'm going to do a video on. I think, you know, different areas, if it affects what capabilities you feel the most, if it affects just the overall experience, whatever. I'm gonna do like a video on that. I feel the water more when I'm not in the back row and not in this row, I guess. There was like a part or two where something's splashing in the water, or the water splashes up, and I don't hear the water trying to work. So I don't know what they were doing, but everything's gonna be different. Every auditorium's gonna be different. And also, there was a couple times where it kind of could have snowed-ish, and I was hearing stuff. I was closer to the screen than I usually am, so I was actually hearing stuff where I think that the snow would have come out. So I don't know if my auditorium just does not do snow, because I don't recall ever seeing snow. Because there's a couple scenes where either ash is falling or snow is falling. I could hear the machines in the auditorium working, but nothing's coming out. I literally was like looking out. I was trying to see if I could see anything, but I know I didn't see any snow. So I think that these are definitely capabilities that my auditorium might have that they just aren't keeping up with. Yeah, I didn't feel the water, but there definitely was water. Even with those little nitpicks of the auditorium capabilities, I still had a very, very fun time with this film, and just a blast. An absolute blast in 4DX. And part of me thinks that maybe I loved the movie more than I would have if I didn't see it in 4DX. I still did really like the movie, but right after it I was like on a high from the 4DX. And I still think the 4DX was amazing, but I felt like I was saying, oh my god, the film is actually really good, it's really fun, and it's a blast, and it is. But it's just, I feel like I'm more level-headed, I guess, right now, and I did like the film. I just don't know if I loved it as much as I thought I did, right after I saw it. Say all three are back in 4DX. Kung Fu Panda 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, or Godzilla x Kong in 4DX. 100% Godzilla x Kong. I highly recommend Godzilla x Kong, the new Empire in 4DX. It's a very worthwhile experience if you're a fan of 4DX. I think you'll definitely love this. It's one of the more intense experiences I've had in this format, and it's one of the better experiences I've had in this format. Especially that third act is almost non-stop action in the seats and in all the capabilities, so I think you're going to have a lot of fun with this in 4DX. Doom Part 2 was 100% recommend in the format. This is a 100% recommend in the format. Very different movies, very different levels of love that I have for them. I love Doom 2. But this 4DX experience was the real deal. Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire is the kind of movie that is made for the 4DX experience. What did you think of Godzilla x Kong as a movie? Did you see it in 4DX? Did you have as much fun as I did in this format? Let me know down in that comment section what you thought of Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire. If you liked what you've seen here and you want to see some more content from me, please click around here to see some other content from me. Please like this video, comment on this video, share this video with the movie fans in your life. Hit that notification bell, subscribe, make me your 40x guy, and come to the upside, Dan.